What is literacy? It seems like a strange question, or at least a straightforward one. It's the quality or state of being literate, or so Merriam-Webster says. But what does this actually mean? To the average person, being able to read and write at some basic level is enough to be considered literate. This definition is wrong. UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, defines literacy as the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, compute, and use printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. Literacy involves a continuum of learning to enable an individual to achieve his or her goals, to develop his or her knowledge and potential, and to participate fully in the wider society. That's a pretty involved definition, and one that involves a lot more than just reading and writing. The second half of that definition is what I want to talk with you about today. The second half of that definition is why literacy is so important. Most people would agree that literacy is one of the most important skills a person can have. It's why we invest so much in global education, in providing schools and educational opportunities to people in the developing world. But in Canada, we don't often think about our own literacy. Recently, we've been boasting statistics of 92% literacy, but this is only measured as low-level reading and writing, not the comprehensive literacy as defined by UNESCO. This definition and these statistics are wrong. According to the Canadian Literacy and Learning Network, 42% of Canadians between the ages of 18 to 65 have low-level literacy skills. That means 4 out of 10 people can't understand the material they interact with on a daily basis, including technology, business reports, etc. Less than 20% of these people are employed. Let me break down these statistics using some more significant data from the census. The population in July 2014 was 35,540,419. That means that almost 15 million people have low-level literacy. If these people were to fill up our major cities, they make up the combined populations of Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, and Ottawa. Imagine that. 5 of our biggest cities, our most prosperous cities, being illiterate. The statistic becomes scarier when considered with the amount of unemployment in Canada, currently sitting at 6.5% of the population. That's 2,310,127 people unemployed. Considering that less than 20% of the low literacy population are employed, that means people of low-level literacy make up more than half of the unemployed population. We see from these numbers that these people cannot achieve their goals, develop their potential, or fully participate in their community and society. Their low-level literacy prevents them from finding the opportunities. Luckily, there are ways we can solve this problem. Literacy programs, especially ones targeted at adults with low-level literacy, are imperative to helping these people. We need more training centers, community outreach, and accessibility. People in the low-level literacy category already suffer because they cannot access the technology and services needed to improve their situation. By funding literacy, we give them the opportunity to pull themselves out of this predicament. Unfortunately, as of this year, our federal government has cut all funding for provincial and national literacy programs. We as citizens need to inform them that this is not acceptable. Our futures and our country's success depends on the education and literacy of its citizens. We are failing almost half of our citizens, and that number will only grow if we don't do something now. Thank you.